The views and opinions expressed in this recording do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Logan City Council. Logan City Council does not make any representation of the accuracy of any such views and opinions.
Well, hello, I'm Valerie Pearson from Green Living Australia, and we are at Hive West at Logan West Library. Now, I'll give you a heads up before we start. I have never spoken to a group sitting down or without a whiteboard marker and a whiteboard. So I'm not sure I know how to talk without those implements, so we'll give it a shot. But if I start waving my arms around, you know I'm suffering from separation anxiety. Okay, so I am the founder of Green Living Australia, which I started 15 years ago. And it started in my kitchen. I was working full-time. I was working doing insurance work, and while I loved my job, it was a job. I had to get up and go to work every day, and if someone had asked me, if you didn't get paid to do this anymore, would you still do it? I would honestly have to say no. But if someone asked me today, if you didn't get paid for what you do now, would you still do it? And I can honestly say yes. So that's the difference, okay? You can set your own schedule, work as much or as little as you want. There's lots of benefits to being your own boss. So I'm just going to share a little bit of story of how I got there, and then I'm going to share with you some things that you could do to start your own business. I'm assuming we have some people who want to start their own business in the room, or who have, and they're maybe not that far into that journey and want some advice. So when I first started the business, I had a very strong reason why I wanted to do it. I started out with just myself and my brother helping me because he had some IT skills and I had none. So I needed someone who could do that kind of thing. And we just plugged along with a small amount of income. And I remember the first month that we actually got $500 in sales in our little tiny business. We didn't expect to take any money out of it, but it helped just kind of offset the costs of what was really like a glorified hobby for me. But after a little while, we started doing a little bit better. And then one day he said, we've got some money in the bank account here. You want to split it in two? And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I expected he was going to say, well, here's $500. He didn't. He said, well, here's $5,000. And I'm like, well, that's actually not bad, for, not doing much, because we just kind of did it in the evenings when I got home. And a little while later, he said, I'm having difficulty getting all these orders out. I'm actually having to spend some time doing it now, and it's interrupting my bowling schedule. And I'm like, oh, maybe we should hire someone. So we did. We hired someone. We found someone who wanted a part-time job, and they came in and they started packing orders underneath my house. And it got a bit bigger, and eventually we said, we might need to get a space to do this in because it's taking over the whole house. So we rented a small space. 15 years later, I have 9 staff, 2 warehouses. I supply over 250 stores across Australia, and I have written and published 2 books. I have a Facebook page, Instagram page, blog. I speak 2 to 3 times a week all over the country, and I have never been busier or happier in my life. And that came from just an idea one day, from a conversation around the kitchen table. So you might have a similar experience or have goals to do something similar to me. And I'm just going to go through some things that I think you should do, the order in which you should really do things if you want to succeed. Remember, 90% of businesses that start don't make it through the first year. So if you want to be one of the 10%, there's a few like golden rules, I think, that you have to follow. And you might have heard this one before, but a lot of people say it, and I didn't follow this one. I had to go back and do it later. So from hindsight, I should have done it this way. People will say, you need a business plan. And you go, yeah, whatever. Airy-fairy stuff, business plan. That's what I said. Yeah, I'm going to spend my time sitting down and writing a business plan instead of actually producing a product that can go out the door. What a waste of time. Then I had to come back later and do my business plan because I was stalling as a business because I didn't do a business plan. But doing a business plan might sound a bit like an airy-fairy idea. What is a business plan and how do you do a business plan? Now, a lot of people think a business plan is so you can take something to the bank to get a loan. I never went to the bank to get a loan. I let my business grow organically. I didn't spend more money than I had, so I didn't end up one of those 90% that went out of business and now had to pay off the debt from my attempt. Okay, you do not want to do that. I'm personally against borrowing money, unless it's that good kind of debt where I did borrow money to buy the warehouse, and then I bought money to buy another warehouse. But that's what I call good debt, because you can sell the warehouse to pay off the debt. But if you borrow money for operating expenses and it doesn't work out, how long do you want to be paying off that mistake? Okay, so I'm not suggesting you borrow money. So I'm not talking about the kind of a business plan that you're going to take to a bank and say, please loan me money so I can buy myself a job. All right, because I don't like the one I've got now. That's not the kind of one I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is a business plan where you work out your mission state or your purpose, and then how you're going to fulfill that purpose and what you are going to do. So there's a book that I read a lot. There's a book I read called It Starts With Why. Okay? Now this book, Simon, the guy who wrote the book, basically has packaged some information that's been around for a long time and then put his new twist on it. And I think it's a very good book everyone should read. But I've taken a page out of his book and I've given you a copy of it. And it talks about the how and the what and the why and what order they should come in. So it always says you should start with why. So I'll use my business as an example, but I want you to be thinking about your business while we're talking about this. Why did I want to start this business? Some people go, well, I want to start a business because I want to make money, because I don't want to work for the people I'm working for, because I want to have my own schedule. That's not the kind of why I'm talking about. The kind of why I'm talking about is, why are you starting this business? Why this? Okay, so my business, Green Living Australia, was producing products things that I wanted and needed that I couldn't get. And I figured if I was having trouble getting those things, then other people that wanted to do the same thing I wanted to do must be having that same problem. So that kind of boiled down to, why do you want these things in the first place? Why do you want to get them? So I had to really carefully sit down and think about, what is the purpose? What is my purpose? Because the company is a projection of me. So what's my purpose? So on the front cover, I've got my mission statement. So this is just an example for you, okay? So my mission statement was to, what I wanted to do was to empower people to take back control of their environment and create healthier, more independent, sustainable lives for themselves and their families, while actively caring for the planet and each other. That's why I wanted to do business. I was already helping people working in insurance. I was helping people all the time. They would call up and go, oh, this has happened and that happened. And I'd be like, let me help you. But now I wanted to help people in a different way. So that was the purpose of my company. So then once you know what your purpose is, you can start working out what your company is going to do. And every single decision you make in your company, you can look back at your purpose to decide whether to do it or not. Okay, so if you've got a purpose like that, then if a business opportunity comes along, you can evaluate that business opportunity based on your purpose. So someone might come along and say, oh, we've got this opportunity to get this whole bunch of plastic packaging material real cheap. Okay, and you go, okay, well, that sounds good. Let's have a look at my mission statement. Does that fit in with my mission statement? A whole bunch of cheap plastic packaging. I'm like, well, no, that's not very sustainable, and it's not helping the environment. So no, I'm going to say no to that opportunity. Okay, so every decision you make is going to be based on your mission statement. And all the products that you sell are going to be based on your mission statement. And how you deliver those products is going to be based on that mission statement. So I decided for myself, the kind of products that I was interested in was food products to start with. Okay, that's where I started. I started off with food products, but not necessarily selling food, but selling stuff to help people make their own food. So preservative-free, artificial color-free, artificial flavor-free foods. So that's where I started. I just wanted to help people make their own jam. Okay? It's pretty simple. And I found that everything to do with making your own jam was either real expensive, the Fowlers of a cola jars and lids, they were real expensive. And then I thought, well, what if we could recycle jars that were already out there? Everyone's buying food in jars. All we needed was new lids. Well, you can't buy them. What do you mean you can't buy them? Well, you can, but you've got to buy thousands at a time. I said, okay, I'll do it. So I bought thousands at a time and then sold them to you 10, 25, and 50 at a time so you could make jam and recycle jars and have jam without preservatives. So that's all we did. We just sold little packs of lids. Now we have over 1,000 products, but they all follow the same purpose. They're all trying to help you take back control of your environment so you can live a healthier life. So every decision I've made in the business comes back to why I started the business. What's the mission statement of the business in the first place? And then how do we do that? Well, we could print catalogs and we could get those catalogs out to people. Well, that's not a very environmentally friendly way to do that. Okay, we could have a website and have an electronic footprint, which is a smaller environmental footprint. Well, that's a better idea. Okay, and we could have minimal packaging for our products, so that was more environmentally friendly. And we could have, if we do have to have packaging, sometimes you got to put something in a box to get it to where it's going. We could have all our boxes be recycled cardboard. Great, so now we're starting to work out how we're going to do our business and what it is that we're going to sell, because every business is selling something. Every business sells something, a service, an idea, a product, a feeling. They're all selling something. And that's okay, because if you don't sell something, have something to exchange with the society, you can't make a living doing it. And if you can't make a living doing it, you're not going to do it. There's nothing wrong with making a living doing what you're doing. You don't have to do things for free to be a moral or ethical person. Okay, and people are willing to pay for your services if they know why you're doing it. Okay? It's not so much what you do sometimes as to why you're doing it. So you can start with why, and then you work out how you're going to accomplish that why, and then that will lead you to the products that you want to sell. Okay? You might already have an idea of the product you want to sell, but I bet you if you actually look back, don't look forward, don't look what other people are doing, don't look at what your competition is doing, just look back in your history and try and find out why you wanted to do this in the first place. It'll take a little bit of digging sometime to find out why you wanted to do this in the first place, but every one of you has a why that you need to work out before you put your business together. That's the kind of business plan. It's a business plan for you, not for a bank. You might use that information later for a bank if you do want to buy a building, but it's for you. Okay? All right. So I want to talk about the key points to consider when you start a home-based business. The first thing is you need to separate out your finances. If you figure out why you want a business, what it is you want to do, how you want to do it, great. Now you've got your business plan. Good. Now you're going to start your business. The first thing is to separate out your finances. If you've got a personal credit card and you start putting, business stuff in your personal credit card and writing it down there and kind of trying to keep track of it, and you've got a personal bank account, but now you're paying your mortgage out of your personal bank account, going to the grocery store out of your personal bank account, and paying business expenses out of your personal bank account, you are opening a can of worms. You are opening a bookkeeping nightmare. And if you have a business, you're going to have to keep your books straight. You're going to have to pay taxes. Okay? Once it transitions from being a hobby to a business, now you have to keep records, and you are required to do this by law. And you also need to do it because you need to know if your business is making any money. And you need to know how much money you have to put into your business that your money has made. So open a bank account. It's going to cost you $5 a month? The stress it will remove from your life in better bookkeeping, it's worth it. So open a bank account. And now you've got money in that bank account. Maybe you've decided that you're going to put a little bit of money in that bank account to start it. It could be as little as $500. It could be as little as $100. It could be as much as $10,000. Whatever you put in there, you've loaned the business that money. Make sure you get it back later. You've loaned the business that money, and you're going to pay the business expenses out of that money. And the sales that you make of your product or service, that money goes into that account not into your personal account, into that account, and then you pay bills from the money that you make. So I don't suggest you keep pouring money into your business. You put money into your business maybe to start it, and you immediately start that business with that, and you start selling things, and that money then it becomes self-sustaining. Don't expect to get paid. Not right away. You can't start a business and go, well, I'm going to take $1,000 a week out of that business and then find out it's gone broke. Okay? I didn't get paid anything for doing my business for quite some time. It wasn't until my brother, who was my business partner, because he could do the IT and ship the orders while I went to work and do everything for me, that he said, we've got some money in the account that we don't need to replace the stock that we're selling. Do you want some? That's the first time I got paid. I didn't need to make money out of it because I was already working, but we separated the finances and we knew actually that we were making a profit now. The next thing is space. Create a space to do your business from. Now we had a 3-bedroom house and with an apartment downstairs, and my brother was actually living in the apartment downstairs, and I was living upstairs with my 2 girls. So we didn't really have any space. So, but we did have a really big kitchen. So we could have our meetings in our really big kitchen. And then there was some space off his apartment area that was basically not utilized. So we converted that into an office space, put a big table down there, and because we were going to be shipping things for internet business, we put a packing desk down there. So it was very, very basic, but at least we had a space. And then when I came home in the evening, we had a space upstairs where we put a desk and a computer, and that was the office. So we created an office. We basically converted the dining room into an office because we had a really big kitchen. My key point is that you need to have a space. That's the workspace. Don't let your kids be playing computer games on your work computer. Don't have other things going on. It doesn't need to be big. It can be, a small space, but that's work. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, you don't want your stuff getting moved around and lost and jumbled by kids or partners moving stuff, and then you're frantically trying to find something important. 2, when you sit in that space, you are working. And you cannot be continuously interrupted by family members or phone calls or, getting lazy and watching TV in the middle of the day or whatever. Staying motivated to do the work while you're at home sometimes can be quite difficult. So make it so you get up and you go to that space. And when you're in that space, that's your workspace. Put your work hat on, you're working. You want to stop working? Get out of that space, go do something else. That's fine. But that's your workspace. That leads right into schedule. You have to have a work schedule. It was easy for me when I was still working full-time. I'd get up in the morning, go to work, come home, have dinner, and then in between that 8 and 9 o'clock, I just did the paperwork necessary for whatever had happened that day. Logged in the sales, did whatever bookkeeping, did the transfer from the credit card account to the bank account. It didn't take me very long. As it got more and more sales, of course, that time got more and more until eventually I had to quit my job because I didn't have time to work anymore. So once I had quit my job and I was still operating out of my house, it was so tempting just to drift into the kitchen and make sourdough bread instead of going to work. That whole idea of that you could slough over to your computer with your slippers and your coffee and have no set schedule, man, that will get you in trouble. So I had to make myself a schedule. I had to get up in the morning, have my shower, get ready for work, just like I was going to work. Yes, I was in jeans and a T-shirt. Big difference than working for a law firm or something like that. But then I would turn up to my desk with my cup in my hand, actually dressed for the day, and I would say, I am going to do this until 12. I'm going to be at this desk writing. I wrote 2 books. You can't do that if you're cooking in the kitchen instead or working in the garden. So I would make myself do it to 12. So I would say, I am starting at 8 o'clock. I'm going to have my butt in the chair at 8 o'clock, and it is staying there till 12. Yes, I could get up and go make a cuppa, just like you would at work, but that's it. So then I'd go, wow, that was a really good burst of intense work from 8 until 12. That's hours of good, solid work. Then I would take the afternoon off, and I would bake bread, work in my garden, do all those kind of things. If I worked all day, 8 hours at my computer, I didn't get much more done than if I just worked intensively from 8 until 12 and had the rest of the day off. But I made myself stick to that schedule. And I made myself stay at work, which was at that desk. Okay. Now, obviously, a lot of my work was to do with food, so in the afternoon I would be maybe cooking something that I was going to write about the next day. But, there's another book you should read called Rest, and it talks about how you should only really work for 5 hours a day anyway. After that, you're not productive, so might as well take the rest of the day off. That's worked very, very well for me in having the right mindset to run my own business. Okay, the internet. Everything's on the internet these days. You can't be in business and have anyone actually believe that you are a business if you don't have an internet presence. If someone talks to me about their business, I'm going to say, do you have a website I can look up and find out about that? That's what everyone says. In fact, if someone says, I'm a business, I get an email going, I'm a business, blah, 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 blah. I'd like to buy wholesale off you because I'm a business. I Google them. If I can't find them, they can't buy wholesale. They're not a business. That simple. So you do need a website. You don't need to hire an expensive web designer. You can get an off-the-shelf website pretty cheaply these days. Very easy to customize, drag, and click and drop, and text boxes that you just fill in. They have a number of different templates that you could easily get. WordPress is a good resource for you. Okay, very easy to use. So you can make your own website, get up and running in no time. So that's really important. And then you've got social media. So I use Facebook and Instagram. Now, I'm told already that Facebook is for old people. I have kids in their 20s and 30s, and they don't use Facebook because that's for old people. They use Instagram. And I'm sure something else will come out, and then something else will come out, and then something else will come out. I'm sticking with Facebook and Instagram because my customer base are people my age. Okay, and some people younger than me, but they're into Instagram. So I'm sure the newest thing that comes out will be fantastic for the teenagers, but they're not my public. And when you do that why and how and what, you kind of start to get an idea of who your public are as well, which we'll talk about in a minute. So you do have to engage in social media these days, even if you don't have a personal Facebook page and you don't have a personal Instagram page and you don't like them, too bad. You are going to have one for your business. That's just how it is. You don't have to engage in expensive marketing on Facebook and Instagram, but you do have to have a presence. And it's a good way. People will go, well, can I follow you on Facebook? No, I don't have a Facebook page. Oh, you're not really a business then, even though you've got a website. So that's kind of a thing now, okay? Networking and talking to other people with similar interests to you, even just the similar interest of running your own business. I have to network. When I was first running my own business, and there was me and my brother and a guy that worked 4 or 5 hours a day packing orders, and then me and my brother and the same guy who now was working full time. You know how boring it is having no one to talk to except your brother, okay? Or just your business, or maybe your spouse, or it doesn't really matter who it is. Two people can't have very interesting conversations if they're together every day talking about the same thing over and over again, and your ideas can get stale. So you need to network, and you need to talk to other people and get business ideas, and you need to get inspiration off other people all the time. Like one of my jobs is to inspire people. I do public speaking all the time, and I know my job is to inspire people. But you know what? I need someone to inspire me. So it's a sharing thing. So join groups that have like-minded people. So I've got an idea, which is the group that I'm a member of. Obviously, it won't suit everyone because it's the Logan Women in Business. But there are groups out there for everyone. Chamber of Commerce, business associations. There are all kinds of groups. So I'll just tell you about the one I joined just to give you an idea of the things that you can find. The Logan Women in Business is literally that. Everyone there is from Logan. There's a few people now that come to our meetings that aren't from Logan, but they used to be in Logan, and they love the group so much that they will drive all the way from the north side to come to our meetings. So that's how great that group is. And we meet once a month, and we support a different Logan business every month. So it'll be a restaurant. It's been the Springwood Hotel for breakfast. It's been the golf club down on Logan Lee Road. So we move around, okay? This has been the little White House in Logan. So we'll just pick a place, and we'll have breakfast there at 7 o'clock in the morning. Everyone just turns up, and we have breakfast together. It takes about 2 hours, goes from 7 until 9, and we have a keynote speaker, which is one of us, every month. And we also get to swap business cards. We also get to stand up and go, I need a graphic designer. Is anyone here a graphic designer? Great. I'm going to hook up with you afterwards. I've got a new product, and I need a new packaging design, so I need you to help me. So we're now giving each other business from a B2B, from a business-to-business viewpoint. We're sharing our ideas. We're sharing our resources. And we're having a great time for 2 hours where we're out of the office and having other business people inspire us. Now, some of those other business people have very, very small businesses, but they still might be able to give you something valuable. And others of those people now have very large, successful businesses, but they'll still take something away from a small business person that inspires them. So we're all there to inspire each other and to network, to help each other help our businesses. Okay, so networking is very, very important. And then the next thing is basic promotion. So other things that you have to have when you get started is, website, Facebook page, Instagram, business card. You have to have a business card. You will run into so many situations where someone will be interested in what you do, and they'll go, oh, great, do you have a business card? Because not everyone is going to get a pen and paper out and write down your website address or whatever. So you have to have a business card. The big mistake you can make with a business card is not having enough information on it. So I go to lots of meetings. I network a lot. I go to seminars. I speak a lot. At events like this, people will give me their business card, and I will give them my business card. So there's a lot of swapping business cards. I've got stacks of them. And every now and then, when I'm looking for some service or product, I will go through those business cards, and I will look at them, and I'll go, yeah, that's what I want. And I will call that person because I've met them. I took their business card because I felt good about that person, so there was a reason why I had it. But sometimes when I go through the stack of business cards, I'm looking at it, and it's got a name on it and a phone number. And I have no idea who gave it to me because I can't remember. And there's nothing on that card that tells me I'm a graphic designer or anything, okay? I have no idea. Sue Smith, very pretty card with a leaf on it. A horticulturist? I don't know. You know what happens to that card? Bin. Okay, so here's my business card. It's got my company name. You got to have your company name. It's got my name, my phone number. Okay, it's got what I do: presenter, author. All right. So if you take this and 6 months from now you're going, I really need a speaker for this event that I'm putting together, you can go, oh, Val, she's a presenter and author. I'm going to give her a call. Okay. It's got my my mobile, my office. It's got my email addresses. It's got my address. So, but most of that stuff you'll get right. On the back, I've got additional information, but I've also got a space so I can write something on it if I want to. Okay. All right. So then it's got just a little bit about what it is that I do. So if you've met me, you probably know who I am and why I do what I do. And now you know what I do. How I do it is through this business called Green Living Australia. And then on the back, I've got something else, which is my products. Okay. So I've just got a little list. And yours doesn't have to be like this. You can design it any way you like, but you will have to tell them more than just your name, address, and phone number, because they're going to throw your business card away months down the track because they won't remember what you do. So it says on here, cheese making supplies, home preserving supplies, yogurt cultures, all that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of a laundry list of the things that you could get from me if you were buying something. Okay, not everyone is buying something. Someone might take your business card because they want to book you for an event, or they take your business card because they've got something that they want to send to you because they've got something they want to sell you. And if I gave you my business cards so you could send me that information, I'm probably interested in what you have. So, networking is all very good. But don't make a business card that doesn't tell people who you are and what you do. So I'd rather see one that says Sally Smith, graphic designer. All right, now I know what to do with this business card. I'm keeping that one. And I actually went through just this week and cleared out a pile of business cards, and I could not believe how many of them I threw away because I would have to call that person up and go, who are you and what do you do? I don't have time for that. Okay, but if you tell me who you are and what you do on your card, I'm going to keep it because I'm going to need it one day. Okay, so that's basic promotion. The other kind of promotion that I think is the best promotion you can do is one-on-one, meeting people and talking to people. So get out there. Meet as many people as you can. When you're a home-based business, you know where you are? At home. Who are you going to meet? No one. Okay, so you have to get out and meet people and talk to everyone about your mission. Tell everyone what your mission is. You go to Woolies to pick up some tea and coffee or whatever, and you get the checkout or whatever, and you're like, hey, how you doing? How's your day today? Da, 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 da. And you get in conversation. People just end up asking when you're getting into conversations with them, what do you do? Let me tell you, okay? I help people do this or whatever it is. So you're always telling people what your mission is. And then if they're interested, if they go, I was just talking about that the other day. Now, you're not trying to sell your product to everyone in the world. You're trying to find the people who already want your product. Okay, I used to say when I was, I do a lot of teaching. I teach cheese making. I teach individuals how to make cheese. I teach cheesemakers in professional situations. I teach teachers how to teach cheese making in schools. I do a lot of cheese is a big area of our company. And I used to say, I am not trying to make all of you cheesemakers. That's not what I'm doing when I'm telling you what a great time you would have at a cheese class. I'm actually trying to find all the closet cheesemakers out there and get them to come out. That's all I'm trying to do. So if I say I teach cheese making and you are not interested in cheese making, you're going to go, that's nice. Okay? But if you have always wanted to make cheese and I go, I teach cheese making, you're going to be talking to me afterwards and going, I loved what you were talking about tonight, but what I really want to know is when your next cheese making class is. I've just found another closet cheesemaker. That's all I wanted to do. So not everyone is going to buy your product, which leads to the last sheet of paper. Okay, I know this is an up. Oh, it's a bell curve, isn't it? Okay, so this is how you find your people, the people who are going to be fascinated by your purpose and your goal, and therefore are going to want to support you in that, and are going to like what you do, how you do it, and what your final product is. So innovators are a very small percentage of the population. They are the people that create. Okay, they are the makers, and if you're a small business person, this is probably where you are. You're probably an innovator, okay? But it is a small percentage of the population, which is why most people just work for someone else, okay? So people that I would put in the innovators. Let's think of some famous people. Steve Jobs started Apple, innovator, okay? There's lots of them out there. They don't all have to be in IT. But there's Sam Walton, okay, who started Walmart. He had this purpose to be able to have even people in small towns have a good shopping experience and don't have to travel all the way to a big city to buy something, which is what rural America was like. You couldn't buy a decent pair of trousers or a new dress to go out. You had to go all the way to the city. So he wanted to have products available to country people. So that was his purpose. His purpose was not to make money. He became the richest man in the world, but, that's not what his purpose was. He still drove that old pickup truck till the day he died, too. Yeah. And worked every Saturday because his staff had to. So... yeah, so those kind of people, they're innovators, right? So they create the big ideas, and we're hoping you are innovators. You're creating the idea to start this business. And then you've got your early adopters. They're the people that are going to go, I love what you're doing. I'm on board. I'm going to buy your product. That product is great. Okay, yes, I'm in. So those are the people that you're looking for. All right? And they're going to have a like-minded purpose or goal to you. So say your goal was to create environmentally friendly products. You are going to need to market your product to environmentally friendly people. So you're going to have to find out where environmentally friendly people are, what they read, where they go, okay? All right? If you're more interested in music, getting music out to people, then you're going to have to find the people who are really into music and what they read and where they go, etc. Okay? So my area, for example, has a lot to do with food. So I would hope that I would find early adapters, people that wanted to make their own cheese at food and wine shows, maybe. So you got to pick your market, okay? So then after you've got a whole lot of people who are already interested in what you are doing on board with you and going, yeah, that company is really good and I'm on board and I'm buying their products and I'm telling my friends about that product, you then get your early majority. So those are the people that will get on board with the new idea only after a whole bunch of other people have got on board with the new idea. They're a little bit scared. Like, oh yeah, making cheese sounds nice, but I'm not going to do it. And then they find out, they get this feeling that there's a whole lot of other people doing it. Oh, making cheese sounds really good, and a lot of other people are doing it these days. I might do that. Have you heard words like that? People were thinking about doing something, and the thing that made them actually decide to go and do it is a lot of people are doing that now. I'm going to do it. Why? It's psychological. It's herd mentality. Okay, I'm going to do it because other people are doing it. I want it because other people want it. It's the same reason why the dress that some royal family member wears sells out the day after they're on TV with it on. Look, someone famous wore it. I'm going to buy that. Oh, it was a $700 dress and you bought it? Are you crazy? Yep, you're following the herd. So the early majority, they still get in. They're still the first half of the population, okay? And then now you've got a lot of people doing it. This is called the tipping point, okay? When it goes from you're having to market it because not everyone knows about it yet and you're still really working hard to sell it to mega brand awareness. And now it goes over the other side in the late majority, okay? So now you're talking a huge market share. And they're going to do it because everyone else is doing it. You know these big brands. Coca-Cola. Okay? It's in every store. Have you seen a store that doesn't have Coca-Cola in? Other than the health food stores that wouldn't have Coca-Cola. Okay? That deliberately don't have Coca-Cola. Every grocery store, every service station, every restaurant you go to, you can buy Coke, right? There's nowhere that you can go that you can't buy Coke except maybe a Go Vita or a Flannery's. All right, and they're deliberately not putting it in there because it's actually poison. Isn't that amazing that you can buy it everywhere and it's actually poison? Okay, all right, the sugar content I'm talking about. So I wouldn't want to get sued for saying Coca-Cola was actually poison. And then at the end, you've got the laggards, okay? What are the laggards? The laggards are the people that will buy it, but only because they have to. We're talking about the people that still have the Nokia phone that's like a brick, okay? They're not gonna buy a new one. And then finally one day that Nokia phone that's a brick dies. And they have to go buy a new phone. And they want to buy another Nokia brick. But you know what? They can't. And someone says, you're going to have to get this touch screen thing, right? New technology. And they go, I don't want the new technology. And they go, well, don't have a phone then. And they go, fine, I'll buy the new technology. Okay? You made me buy the new technology. After a while, they're actually really going to like that new phone, all right? Okay, I am one of those people with the phones. Until a water bottle accidentally opened in my bag and drowned my Nokia brick, I did not get a new phone. Now, I love my Samsung, but it's a 4, and my brother's trying to talk me into getting rid of it because it won't interface with these new toys that he's buying for my phone. So my brother's an early adapter to any technology, okay? Those are the people that line up and have to get the latest Apple phone and they will camp outside, okay? And they will pay way more for the product, okay? Those are the people that buy Harley Davidson, its newest, latest model, even though they have to pay now and wait a year for delivery. All right. So they are really into that brand. They are the early adapters. They're like going to get it no matter what. All right. And then all the way the other end, there's the people that will finally buy it because there's nothing else left on the market. So you kind of get the idea of how to market your product from this curve. If you have a product and you think everyone is going to want this product, that's probably not, that's called shotgun marketing. And you are going to spend a huge amount of money marketing to these people, okay? And the percentage of these people in the middle that are going to buy your product is small for your advertising dollar, or not even your advertising dollar, your advertising minute, if you're out there talking to people. So in this group, for example, I would ask a question and find out who's really into cheese. And, 3 of you are going to go, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm not even going to talk to you anymore about making cheese. Why would I? Okay? You're not my public. I could spend a whole lot of time telling you what you could do with lactose-free milk to make some cheeses, but that's really going to be a waste of my resources, isn't it? 3 or 4 people are going to go, yeah, I'm a cheeseaholic. I really want to make cheese. I'm going to talk to you 3. After you 3 have all done cheese courses, then I'm going to start talking to the other people. And the 3 that have already done cheese courses, you're going to be helping me, going, yeah, that course was great. I make all my own cheese now. Okay, it doesn't matter what the subject matter. It could be cupcake making. It could be advertising. It could be you're a web designer. It doesn't matter what it is. You talk to if you're a web designer, you ask who wants a website. And the people that go, I'm a web designer myself, I don't need your help. Don't talk to them anymore. The 3 or 4 people in the room go, yeah, I really need a website. You could really help me with that. Talk to them. And then later talk to more people with those 3 people helping you, going, yep, the service was great. So that word of mouth, that direct contact talking to people is the best marketing that you can do. So figure out how you can get your product out in front of the people who already want your product. They just don't know you have it yet. Don't try and shotgun market to everyone. That whole idea of printing flyers and putting them in every mailbox in a neighborhood, that is not sustainable, it's not viable, and it's not going to make you successful. Find your public. Define who your public are by working the curve and by working why you are doing what you're doing, how you're going to do it, and what you're going to do. And when you start doing that kind of stuff in a business plan for you, not for the bank, but for you, you will work out who your public are, and then you will know how to find them. Okay? So I guess the last thing I can tell you to do is read, read, and read. I am constantly reading books. I buy every management book. I go to events. There's an event next month on the 13th that someone's putting on at the Springwood Hotel about management coaching. I signed up for it. I don't want to be a management coach, but I signed up for it anyway. If I get one little gem out of there that I could come back and share with my staff, then I will. Okay? The other thing is, as you get bigger, you will need to hire people. Don't hire them based on their resume of how good they are at computer skills or, all the other things that people put in resumes these days. Those things are good. And if you can get someone that's got those skills, that's great. But what the key point is finding someone who has the same why as you. So ask them why they want to work for you. Okay? So for me, when I advertise that I need someone, I do not put an ad in, Seek or any of those other places to hire people. I put it on my Facebook page. You are never going to know I'm hiring unless you follow me on Facebook. And if you're following me on Facebook, you're interested in cheese making or soap making or fermenting or environmentally sustainable living or, you're interested in something that is going on in my company. Otherwise, you wouldn't be following me on Facebook, right? So, my ad goes out to 5,000 plus people who are already interested in something that I do. So then I say, send your resume, email it to this address. So then I get all these resumes and I can start looking at the skill set from those resumes, but I already know. And then one of the questions that I ask when I'm interviewing people is I ask, why do you want to work here? And they start telling me their why. What I'm looking for is a why that matches my why. Okay? So the closer it aligns with my why, the better. And if they've got a story as to how they got there, even better. I've got a story as to how I got to my why. I have children who have chemical sensitivity, so I can't have any chemicals in my environment because it can hospitalize my children. And they're adults now, and I've got grandchildren. And from everything that happened to me and to my children, I learned about how dangerous chemicals are, which made me a really environmentally conscious person. So everything I do in my business has an environmental focus or a non-chemical focus and that kind of stuff. So I meet like-minded people and I hire like-minded people, not to work for me, but to work with me on this mission. And I truly believe that my staff believe that they work with me, not for me. The way they talk to me tells me they don't think they work for me. They fire me every now and then too. They say I've been here too much this week, and they fire me and send me home. So it's a real partnership. And as you do get big enough to start employing people, remember your first responsibility is to the people that work for you. The customer is not always right. Yes, you have to be nice to your customer, but any customer who is ever rude to my staff is not my customer anymore. My first responsibility is to my staff. They are my team. So I look after them first, and in turn, they look after me. Okay? Look, I think that wraps it up for what I can share with you tonight. I recommend that you read. The library is going to be a great resource. You don't have to buy the book. I do, because I cannot read without a highlighter pen in my hand. So I go, oh, that's good, and I'm highlighting all the way through all these little key bits. And then when I get to work next week, I share all my new insights with all my staff and rally the troops so we can all be enthusiastic. And so they all think I'm a nut. But they all had been working there for years and years. They don't leave, so they must like it. So thank you very much for listening to me.